want to move on, come right back to Jay and talk about the Leandro case. What's next?
So just as quick background, the so-called Leandro case started back in 1994 when families from five low-wealth districts sued, saying that their kids did not have the same educational opportunities in the low-wealth districts as they did in high-wealth districts. The Supreme Court ultimately found that every child is entitled to a sound basic education. As part of the Leandro litigation, there was a consultant that was hired that made recommendations of what needed to be provided by the state to fill that gap. Ultimately, that study recommended that there be $1.7 billion funded in the first 2 years for public schools. That included providing additional money for early childhood education, teacher pay raises, as well as funding for low-wealth school districts. Earlier this week, last week, Judge Lee said he had ordered and directed.
He's a county judge, right?
He's a Superior Court judge. He directed that the state transfer $1.7 billion. Needless to say, the Republican leadership have reacted quite harshly, calling Judge Lee a rogue and saying that he is unhinged. But I think we've entered into uncharted territory for sure, and I think there are a few questions that we have to ask as we go forward. One is who would appeal the decision, because we know that the state's not in a position to appeal that decision. I think if legislators want to appeal the decision, they'll argue it's a violation of separation of powers, and we can see separate litigation there. Then we also have state officials and what they're going to do. I think that you got Treasurer Falwell, who is Republican, may not follow the judge's order. And then lastly, and maybe Nelson can shed some insight, I mean, certainly there seem to be rumors about impeaching Judge Lee too, arguing that he's exceeded his authority. And the last impeachment we've had was with William Holden back in 1870.